The hurricane did a lot of damage to the neighbourhood in this small town. The next day, a woman was shocked to see a dog walking on its own while carrying something in a big bag. Less than 6,000 people lived in Sinton, a city on the edge of Texas. Because the area is so small, many of the people who live there are good friends, and everyone always knows what's going on. Hello and welcome to another episode of Amazing Animal Stories. Before we start today's story, we would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe to our channel Amazing Animal Stories and also press the bell icon. Let's get started. A family made the news, but it wasn't because of anything they did. Instead, it was because of their dog. The Segovia family has lived in their house for a long time. Their dog, Otis, was a big, brown German Shepherd who stood out. He became part of the family when he was still a puppy. Otis belongs to 6-year-old Cortez Segovia. But things changed when the boy and his parents left the neighbourhood to get away from the flooding caused by Hurricane Harvey. The boy found out that his grandfather had stayed in Sinton and promised to take care of Otis until his grandson returned. In fact, it was Salvador who found the puppy first. A long time ago, a man drove around town with Otis in his car, looking for a place to drop him off. The man didn't want to take care of the dog, but thinking of the poor animal being left alone broke his heart. The man then gave Otis to Salvador, and Salvador took him in right away. No leaving here," said Salvador. "We will keep him." The dog eventually became his pet, and the young boy was happy to have a new family member. Everyone in the family speaks very highly of Otis. Even though they have said that the dog's face looks sad, his soft fur and kind personality make him very cute. Everyone finds the dog friendly and easy to get along with. When people see him sitting, they just admire him. Dogs are the most popular pets all over the United States. They are loyal pets that are great for both families and single people. Otis had all the typical qualities that make people like dogs. But Otis had something that made him stand out. Even though a lot of people have dogs, they are usually not allowed in certain buildings or places because they can be loud and hard to control. For example, many restaurant owners don't let pets in. But Otis, the sweet brown dog, had never been to a place like that. When the young dog wanted a burger, he was allowed to go to Dairy Queen and get one there. The dog was well known throughout the town, but after the hurricane hit, he became a big star. A woman named T.L. Dawkins did a good job of writing up the story. T.L. had just moved to the Texan area and was still getting to know people there. She went outside the day after the storm to see how her neighbours were doing. Luckily, there wasn't much damage in that area, and no one got hurt. She still had a few things to do before she could go home. As the woman walked along the sidewalk, she saw a dog carrying a big bag. The dog was all alone. Even though the bag looked heavy and was full of things, the German Shepherd carried it without a problem. At first, she was a little worried about the dog because she thought it was either lost or a stray. So TL took her phone out of her pocket and took a picture of the dog. TL planned to put the dog's picture online later if someone was looking for him. Still worried that the dog might need help, the woman ran over to catch up with it. The dog had sensitive ears and could hear the woman from behind. He turned and dropped the bag when he saw her. Then, as she got closer to the dog to look at it more closely, she felt her heart melt. There was enough food in the bag for the dog to eat for a long time. The dog looked at the woman, picked up the bag, and kept walking down the street. TL thought the dog would return to its owners, but the dog was on a mission. TL thought to herself that the dog was adorable. It didn't seem right to leave the little creature on its own, so she went with him. They walked a few miles until they reached the Segovia family home, where the dog wanted to go. TL walked up to the front door and knocked. Almost immediately, the door opened and an older man walked in. Salvador didn't know the woman, so he asked her if she was okay. She gave an enthusiastic nod and asked, "Is that your dog coming down the road?" She then stepped back and pointed at Otis. Salvador was happy to see his pet, so he gave him a wave. The dog started walking towards them while still carrying the big bag. As soon as he got to the door, he put the bag down, showing that it was full of food. Salvador was proud of Otis's smartness, so he got down on his knees and gave the dog a big hug. He knows where to go to pick up a treat, he explained after being interviewed about the situation. Otis's full bag shows that the dog is definitely smart. Now that Otis was back home, Salvador could put all the pieces together and figure out what had happened. The neighbourhood had been getting ready for Harvey for a few days. People in the area knew from the news and weather reports that it would be very dangerous, so they either stocked up on food at home or left the city. Salvador decided to stay, so he had to follow the rules and prepare his house for any possible threats. The old man moved some things around his home on Friday night. Since he hadn't seen Otis in a while, he assumed that the dog was sitting quietly on the back porch. On the other hand, the dog found the storm scary and couldn't sit still. Salvador had left food and water on the porch, but Otis couldn't eat at the time. Otis jumped in fear when he heard a loud noise and broke the screen's door open. The dog ran a long way. When Salvador was done getting the house ready, Otis had already left. Salvador yelled at the top of his lungs through the windows to get his dog. Still, he didn't hear back, and it was too late for him to find him. He would have to hold off until the next day. Due to the hurricane, everyone stayed inside so that no one could buy Otis his usual ice cream or hamburger at Dairy Queen. Instead, the dog must have gone to one of the local stores to look for dog food. One of the lumber stores had a full shelf of Otis's favourite food, Old Roy. When the sun rose and it seemed like everything was safe again, Salvador left the house to look for Otis. He still couldn't find him even though he looked for hours. The old man returned to his home and prayed that the dog would return. Teal and Otis came to his door soon after. Teal put the picture she took of him on the internet, which made everyone wonder why the dog was carrying such a big bag. The woman wrote in the caption, "The dog is walking around Sinton, Texas with an entire bag of dog food. He's not a stray, he just got out on his own. His name is Otis." People in and around the centre and community quickly shared the picture on Facebook. Since Teal first uploaded it, it has been shared more than 39,000 times. Not long after, the story got enough attention to be on the news. When the picture of Otis went viral on the internet, many people started referring to him and his heavy bag as a sign of strength. Hurricane Harvey's flooding made a lot of people's lives harder. But everyone involved put on a brave face and did everything they could to help each other. We may not be able to stop natural disasters, but the strength of communities will always be a bright spot. Thank you for watching this incredible story. Which part did you like the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe to our channel, Amazing Animal Stories, for more amazing stories like this. Take care and we will see you soon.